life of a hunter. It's not about an end result, it's about an expedition, a journey that leads us into wild places, both near and far. In a time where some believe hunting is not relevant to modern society, we carry the torch and stand on the foundations of those that have come before us. We continue to invest into the ecosystems of which we must sustain. It's an effort to conserve, to provide, and celebrate God's renewable resources.
Hey, 380 plus.
It is our life. It is our passion, and we make no apologies for our God-given right to hunt. Minnesota, a state Mark Heck has come to love over the years, and more specifically, his farm within this great state. This farm is a place that is worked and managed year-round in an effort to maintain and hold some of the best whitetail hunting you could possibly find in Minnesota. Some could argue that the amount of effort put into Mark's farms are overkill. However, the fact is, every year, because of all the effort put forth by Mark and his team, he always seems to have an opportunity at a legendary whitetail. A lot of history resides on this farm, including an old barn that has become one of Mark's favorite locations to hunt from. It has been worked and remodeled, and it has provided some incredible memories, including one from a couple years ago with a deer known as the Minnesota Booner.
Mac. I just didn't think it was going to happen. I figured we were going to run out of daylight. We've been waiting here. Last night he was here at like 5:45, and he came out a lot later. He kept going back and forth in the corn, and he was about 58 yards right there. And I was afraid that the corn was going to be too high, but it actually wasn't. That's 190 class inch deer. That is just phenomenal. Go, Chris. Oh boy is right. Oh my goodness. Oh, dude, he's bigger than I thought he was. Look at that. Oh my. Oh man. Let me put this stuff down. I'm gonna lose it all. I'm nervous now. Oh. Look at this. Oh boy. Wow. Oh my God, Chris.
There's no doubt this farm has a way of producing giant whitetails, and this year is no different. A deer they name Clone has been at the top of the target list for some time. A deer they have watched on game camera for the past 5 years, but rarely ever seeing him live on his feet. Mark kicks off his Minnesota season in late October at a place known for great encounters, the Old Barn.
When did we get here? We just got in here. I'm not even set up yet. I just happened to look up and I see a buck walking down through the edge of the woods. They've been coming off the edge of this corn and right into here to a scrape. So he can pop out any second. I'm gonna get ready, just take it easy. I have no clue how big he is. We've had deer movements since the time we've got in here. It's 5:14 now. We've been here for 2 hours and 15 minutes. We've seen deers ever since we've been here. We had an 8-point command right for us, even set up. Nice 8-point, just he never came close enough. Not sure I'd have shot it anyway.
The Given Right is being brought to you by Expedition Archery, Element Outdoors, Real Tree, CVA, Hornady, and Weather Guard. The next day, Mark heads back to the Old Faithful barn he's had so many memories from. The success from this barn can be contributed to the entry and exit points Mark utilizes. It's anything but an easy walk as he treks over half a mile through a thick bottomland creek that leads to the barn. It not only allows him to have success, but also experience encounters that we as hunters could only dream of. What takes place on this particular hunt defines why we as hunters put in all the effort.
Well, we're back to the old favorite, the barn in Minnesota. So we're in early today. We're obviously down here after the Minnesota monster, which is AKA clone. Probably a 200-inch deer, but there's also a beautiful 10-point in here that I won't hesitate to shoot. So we're gonna just sit back, relax a little bit, enjoy the view. It's a little warm outside. We had a long walk up the creek. It's a very hard place to get into, but that's the reason we shoot those deer here, is because it is difficult to get into. So sit back, relax. Hopefully I'll stop sweating. Hopefully we see that big Booner too. They're still fighting. There they go. Oh, that's a shooter. Was it? Get ready.
Right, there he is, there he is, there he is. Stop him, stop him.
Mac, 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 Mac.
Get him. 50. Shot slow.
Good. Good.
All right, here, he's gonna come back out. He's gonna come back out right here, Mark. Slow. Oh, he's over here. He's right there. He's right there. Hold still, hold still.
Like where?
Right here, right here. Close. 20 yards, 20 yards. Right, he's right there on the screen. Okay. Right here, right there.
Mac, 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 Mac.
There's another big buck. That's the other one.
That's not the big one though, is it?
That's the 150.
Is it?
Yeah. Can you see the clone still? Yeah, he's up on the hill when he's slow. He's out. Shut up. He's right there. There's the other buck. There's 3 bucks right here. Be careful with this bunch of. Alright, that buck's gonna pop out there. They're gonna fight. Shot slow, please. Shot slow, please. Let's try it. He didn't hear. Okay.
Up on the hillside there, a couple minutes ago, I heard some horns hitting, and I was like, yeah, not sure. The wind calmed down, it was horns. It didn't sound that far away. And then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose, and they were just all over the place, and there was 2 bigger bucks. And then we saw 2 or 3 smaller bucks come over, and all of a sudden, like I said, there were just bucks everywhere. One of them was the clone. He came down, ran back and forth twice, couldn't get a shot at him. He was over here at 15, 20 yards, making a scrape. I can't shoot around that corner. Looked like he was gonna walk right across. Another buck flew off. They took off after it. My heart's pounding so much. He is a stud. I'm telling you, he's a big boy. They were going at it too. I had probably the mid-50, the second buck, shooter buck in here. He was right there, he was watching us. He saw movement here because we were trying to shoot the clone. He was at 25 yards. I could have shot him, and I elected to try to shoot the clone because he stood there for quite a while, so I don't regret it right now. May in a couple weeks, but not right now. That's spectacular to see a deer that big. And he is over 200 inches. He is a stud. He's a horse.
The Given Right is being brought to you by Scrape Fix, Dead Ringer, Cupped Waterfowl, PFC Outdoors, Victory Archery, Burris, and Lethal Products. The next morning, Mark heads up on the hillside to a set position within proximity of where the clone had been moving. He didn't know when the clone may show himself or where he may come from, but he knew based on what he was seeing from the area, it was only a matter of time and patience. The rut action immediately was on as several bucks were working does, and sure enough, the decision to move from the barn to the hillside presented the opportunity Mark was hoping for.
Because I didn't expect him to come this close that quick. But we hammered him. He walked right over the edge right there. What a stud. Moment of truth. Right here's where we hit the blood trail. He goes out this way, crosses up. By the time he gets to the top of the hill, he's walking, so. You can see the blood, Chris.
That's 100% coverage.
You know, stuck in him, so
As the search continued, the sign of hope began to run out. As a deer hunter, you often fear the idea of not finding the deer you've placed a shot on. Any deer, but let alone a world-class whitetail you've been keeping your eye on for years. The feeling is gut-wrenching, and often, all you have left is a hope and a prayer.
Well, it's been kind of a whirlwind of last 48 hours, to say the least. We shot one of our deer that we've been after here for, I think it was on hit list for 4 or 5 years at least, right? Mm-hmm. And we finally got a shot at him. We hit him on early one morning, 8 o'clock. Left to sit for about 6-8 hours, came in and we jumped it, and then we lost the trail. We looked all day, the rest of that day and the next day, and couldn't find him. And I had a flight to Kansas to meet Kenneth and all the other boys there. So GURPS was supposed to go with us, but he stayed back for one more day to look for him, and no sooner than I land in Kansas, guess what? I got a text, a very happy text though, that says, I found the clone, your deer. So we turned around and immediately flew back, and it's dark, but we're here and we'll go recover my deer. All right. Because of the man of the hour. My buddy. Can we please go see this deer? It's
Tyler, we should probably go first so we can get the angle, so you can be surprised when he comes in.
I don't even need my bow for this recovery. Let's go. I have one favorite compartment in my backpack. It's this one right here, the one that houses all the tags. It's a great day when you got to reach in that back. Yes.
Find any spots where I went above my knee?
I can see him.
All yours, sir.
Oh, GURPS, look at this. Oh, he's just a stud. Oh my goodness. Look at the mass on this thing. Holy cow. Oh, I don't even know what to say right now. This thing is just a legend of a deer. I think I could talk about this deer for probably an hour. This is a deer named Clone here in Minnesota. Obviously, Clone has a meaning to it. His father was killed probably 5 years ago. So this deer is at least 8.5 years old, possibly even 9.5. We'll pull the jaw on this to get it aged for sure. It was one of those deer that nobody's ever seen it live on the hoof. This is the second deer in about 5 years that we've shot that it's a deer that's never been seen actually live. We've got it on the camera, usually only about 6-8 times a year would we get him, but we had EHD here this year. And with the EHD, well, first we were worried about losing him because we lost a lot of bucks, but we lost a lot of does. And it made it a real, I guess, target-rich environment for these bucks. They're being very aggressive because there's not a lot of does around. They're fighting and they're chasing all over the place. And unfortunately for him, and fortunately for me, it made it easier to get to this year. He finally showed up. He stayed here for almost a week. We saw him one night and got real close to him, got 20 yards. He was fighting 3 or 4 other bucks. Next morning, went up on top of the hill. He chased a doe right in underneath our tree. Took us a day and a half to find him. The shot was pretty good. It just, the arrow hit a rib and kicked back a little bit and came out back further than it should have. But with a little tenacious work with Chris, my buddies. Jump in here, Christopher. Stud! I mean, a true stud. Look at the mass on this thing, Chris.
I know. The weird part is he grew these eye guards the year after he lost his eye.
Yeah, just 2 years ago, 3 years ago. This thing is mean. I mean, he was mean. Cotter and I watched him the other night. He took on 4 or 5 other bucks, and he went after all of them. He was very aggressive. 3 years ago, he lost his eye in a fight, and then the next year, his horns actually shrunk. He must have gotten hurt, and his horns shrunk. And then this year, he just exploded again. He got points everywhere, got the mass back. Oh man, just.
He made up for lost time.
Incredible deer, dude. This is a legend. Guys, I know you don't understand, but this thing is a legend. This deer here, 9 years old probably, at least 8.5. Never seen before. Only on our farm probably 5 or 6 times a year. It wasn't his core running area. And as soon as EHD came in and took a lot of those does out, couldn't help himself. So, one lucky guy right now. Thank you, bud. Appreciate your help. No problem. We get to go back to Kansas and actually hunt. Yes. Never apologize for your giving right to hunt. Sweet. Look at this thing.
The Clone, a deer that roamed the terrain of Minnesota for over 8 years. A warrior that staked his claim to dominance above his peers. A harvest that will be celebrated by all those who were involved. And a memory for everyone appreciative of their God-given right to hunt.
We should have drugged him the other way.
No, I want you to hold his head up anyway. 'Cause I
Okay.
don't want him dragging in the dirt and mud.